Here's the Hobgoblin from the Spider-Man Retro Wave. Here's a closer look at the clamshell and the picture at the front. The artwork is quite accurate to the animated series. Here's the back of the packaging with the short bio and the rest of the figures in the wave. Here's the figure in the in tray, and it's really looking full because the glider kind of fills up the whole in tray. Let's get the figure out. Here's the figure out of the packaging. He comes with a glider, sling bag, and a pumpkin bomb. We've had a few of them. Here they are with the figures that they come with. Each of them have different paintwork, and for this figure, it is translucent orange with green paintwork at the top of it. The bag is purple just like in the animated series. The shape of the glider is not accurate to the animated series, as in the animated series, it is kind of rectangular. The shape of this glider follows the comic version. However, it is purple like in the cartoon. What they should have repainted is actually the Green Goblin's glider. This would have been more cartoon accurate. The glider is a repaint of the Space Venom Hobgoblin's glider. To put on the sling bag, you have to remove the head and cape. This is how the figure looks like with the cape and hood removed. The hood is removable and can simply be attached back like this. This new retro Hobgoblin figure is actually quite accurate to the animated series. In the animated series, he doesn't have the scales, unlike in the comic. So for those who were asking or wondering why this Hobgoblin doesn't have the scales, it's because it follows the animated series. I guess this will only make the Space Venom remain expensive. The boots are also not pointed, just like in the animated series. The paintwork is also on point, with the hood and cape having darker orange than the gloves and boots. The cape is not accurate to the animated series as it is torn. The hoodie, head, cape and torso is a reuse of the Space Venom Hobgoblin, but the gloved arms and boots are the same as the US Agent figure, which is based on the Bucky Cap body mold and has been used plenty of times by Hasbro. Overall, besides the glider having the wrong shape and the torn cape, this retro Hobgoblin is quite accurate to the animated series. One thing about the glider is that it is difficult for the figure to stay on it, as the figure doesn't have the pointed boots to hook on to the glider's foot mount. Almost half the foot is also off the glider. And if this is how Hobgoblin rides the glider, he will probably have sprained ankles every time he rides it. Articulation. Even with the cape, the head is able to look up this much upwards and downwards. Ab crunch able to bend this much forward and backward. Arms able to swing up to the side this much. Bicep swivel. Double hinge elbow joints, not pinless as it reuses an old body mold. Wrist hinge joints and swivel. The hand can be removed, and also this part of the glove, exposing an undersized forearm. Waist swivel. The Bucky Cap body can really do a split. Frontal split. Legs can be brought up this much. Thigh swivel. Double hinge knee joint. Calf swivel at the top of the boots. And ankle hinge and pivot. Pretty much the articulation of the Bucky Cap body. Here's the Hasbro Space Venom Hobgoblin and the Toy Biz Spider-Man Classics Hobgoblin. Both these figures are accurate to the comic in their own ways. Both this previous version has the scaly texture and pointed boots, but between both of them, the head sculpt of the Toy Biz wins it all. This sculpted eyebrow area and the bigger eyes makes the Toy Biz head looks more accurate to the comic and also the animated series. The only difference from the animated series Hobgoblin is that it actually has a dot in the eyes. The Space Venom Hobgoblin head is also decent, but definitely can't match the Toy Biz head sculpt. The Toy Biz Hobgoblin also has a cape which is not tattered and torn, which is accurate to his early appearance and also just like in the animated series. I've shared about the gliders of the Space Venom and Retro Hobgoblin earlier on. They are exactly the same, just a repaint of each other. But for the Toy Biz glider, it has a shiny purple paintwork and bigger in size. It also has a smoky effect at the end of it which is able to rotate and comes with a base that has wheels on them. The pegs at the bottom of the glider can be attached to the base. The glider looks good and is accurate to his early appearance. In the comics, his glider has appeared as silver and also purple in color. The slingback of the Toy Biz Hobgoblin is purple, just like the Retro Wave Hobgoblin, but you can definitely see better texture on it. There's actually a Goblin logo on it as well. The buckles of the Retro Hobgoblin bag is not painted, unlike the Space Venom Hobgoblin. The gloves are crumpled on these two, but isn't on the Retro Hobgoblin. Here's the Retro Wave Green Goblin and the Sandman Wave Green Goblin. These two are reprints of each other except for the head sculpt. This Retro Wave Green Goblin head can pass off as the animated series if the black circle in the eyes is a dot instead of the circle that we got. Even in the comics, it is a dot. Here's Retro Wave Spider-Man and Pizza Spider-Man. I think the Hobgoblin sizes up well with them. And here's the Armoured Spider-Man and Shocker from the same Retro Wave. The Armoured Spider-Man is really undersized and should have been bigger and bulkier. The Retro Wave Hobgoblin is a decent figure and follows closely to the animated series. However, I think most collectors were looking forward to something more similar to the Space Venom Wave Hobgoblin, as the price for that is high. And a reissue would have been great. But as it is, that's not the case. So for me, this figure is one of the most accurate to the animated series, but at the same time, one of the weakest in the wave as well. If you prefer the Space Venom Hobgoblin or even the Toy Biz Hobgoblin, might as well save some money to spend on that instead of getting this one. Thanks for watching. Do check out my other review in this playlist over here.